Alright, so I'm using Clip Studio Paint, which is for sale on the website if you just search Clip Studio Paint. So I'm going to start with, I always start with a sketch first. Obviously, I'm not quite talented enough to start drawing without a general sketch in mind. Sketching is great because you can figure out the first steps before you actually put down the lines. I like to sketch the pose first in general and then go in with details like the face and the hair and the outfit. And so what I did here was I sketched things like her staff and her outfit in different colors on different layers so that if I didn't like something, it would be easier for me to fix without having to do a lot of erasing and redrawing. And so once I got the sketch about where I wanted it, it doesn't have to be perfect, I just adjusted it so that it looked about how I wanted the finished thing to go. I just changed them all to the same color with a function in Clip Studio Paint that I can't remember the name of, but it's that little blue square in the top left. You just click that and it changes the layer to all the different shades of one color depending on their value, which you'll see in a second. And it is a very helpful tool, especially when I'm lining, so that I don't have to hit Control U and make everything the same color. See, it was right there, and then I started lining. And when I start lining, I use the pen tool, usually either the G pen, the mapping pen, or the turnip pen, depending on the feel I want for the picture. But for the past few pieces I've done, I've used the G pen and made it so that you can hit the settings button and change it so that it varies depending on your pressure and your curve and all of that. And I have it set like that so it feels more natural and less of a flat, boring line. It has some interest to it. And so really I just go over and I start lining what the sketch, and I make sure that the outline is closed lines, that there aren't any open spaces, because it makes coloring a lot easier. And you'll see in the next tutorial how having closed outlines really helps your coloring and really makes it faster and easier to color, at least the way I do it. And so for the hair, I put a lot of detail into it, but not too many lines, I feel like. Because, at least for this piece, there's a lot of experimenting, but not for this piece. I'm not doing too many lines. I just do what's necessary to block in the shapes. Although later, when I get to the lace ends of the dress, that is not what I do. And so I have a couple people asking me like how I get my lines so straight, and it's really just practice. And you can see I hit Control Z a lot. That's the shortcut for undo in most programs. But it's just practice and the way I hold my pen, and I just make sure that the line looks right, and if it doesn't, I just redo it. And you can see there that it crashed on me, and so I had to start on the skirt all over again. I'm drawing on my laptop, and it doesn't quite like me drawing so much as my desktop does. So, especially if you're drawing on a program that quits on you a lot, just save every once in a while, especially if you're doing detail work like I am right now. In fact, you'll see in a second, see it crashed. No, that was just my music, but it crashes again. It's not fun, and it's especially frustrating when I did all that work and then it crashes, and I was so close to save and it didn't. So just save yourself the trouble and save maybe every 10 minutes so that if it crashes, you only have to see, there it is, it crashed again. So if it crashes just make sure you've saved. It saves you a lot of trouble. So I'm still lining, and I decided I wanted to do a whole lot of detail in this one, or at least more than I usually do. So there's a lot of erasing, and also when I line, I have everything in different layers so that I know for certain if I make a mistake, I only have to erase on one layer instead of on the layer and possibly mess up other things. It's just a lot easier to change. And then in the end, as you'll see, I just merge all of the line art layers into one layer. And this way, also, like when I'm drawing objects that are in people's hands, like her staff, I just drew the outline of the whole staff instead of trying to figure out where her hand starts and the staff ends. And it's also easier because your lines can be more natural and end at a more natural way instead of you having to very carefully end your line. It's a lot easier, I think, lining things digitally than lining things traditionally. But I like how both look. Also, speaking of traditional art, if I can figure out a way to set up a camera, I will do some traditional drawings as well and post those on YouTube. But as of right now, I will still be doing digital paintings. But see, like there, since I had it on a different layer, I could very easily fix it without messing up any other layers. So here I am very close to finishing up all the line art, and I just keep checking and making sure everything's good, and then I combine all of the line art into one layer and make any final touches like the grain on the wood and I think a little bit of the hair. And you'll see the rest in the second part of the tutorial. Thank you!